Have you ever gotten that feeling like, like someone's watching you?
Oh, yeah.
Even when you're alone?
Mm,
It's unsettling, right?
yeah. Yep.
Well, that feeling is a reality for millions of people
Wow.
who experience stalking each year.
It's true.
And today we're diving deep into the world of stalking
Okay.
through the lens of one woman's experience.
All right.
Her name's Amy, and she shared her story on the true crime podcast, Something Was Wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Season 19, if you want to go back and listen to it.
Mm.
But now she's bravely sharing updates on her stalker's parole hearings
Oh, wow.
and her fight for legislative change.
Interesting.
So let's start by revisiting Amy's story for those who might not be familiar.
Okay, sounds good.
She met a man named Morrison on a dating app.
Mm.
And at first things seemed normal,
Yeah.
but soon his behavior took a really sinister turn.
Oh, geez.
What began as just a few harmless messages
Right. Yeah.
quickly escalated into just this relentless campaign of harassment.
Ugh.
Morrison, he created fake online profiles to track Amy's movements,
Oh, wow.
sent her threatening messages,
Jeez.
and even showed up at places she frequented.
That's awful.
It's chilling just to think about, right?
Wow.
That feeling of constantly looking over your shoulder,
I know.
never knowing when or where he might appear.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
And what's truly disturbing is the amount of evidence Amy was able to gather.
Oh, really?
Thousands of pages of documentation,
Wow.
disturbing photos.
Yeah.
This was meticulously planned and executed harassment.
That's scary.
And the impact on her life was devastating.
Yeah.
She had to change her routines,
Oh, but.
limit her social interactions,
Wow.
and live with just this constant sense of dread.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And thankfully, justice did prevail.
Good.
Morrison was arrested
Mhm.
and sentenced to prison.
Okay.
But as we'll hear today, the ordeal is far from over.
Oh, no.
Morrison recently came up for parole.
Oh.
And Amy has been attending those hearings, reliving that trauma as she fights to keep him behind bars.
Oh, gosh.
And these parole hearings themselves have been incredibly unsettling,
Oh, wow.
revealing Morrison's disturbing lack of remorse and his just distorted view of what happened.
It's so frustrating.
In fact, Amy shared this really chilling detail.
What's that?
Morrison brought a biography of Adolf Hitler to one of the hearings.
Oh, my God.
It's a chilling glimpse into his mindset,
Right.
and it raises serious concerns about his potential for future harm.
That's really scary.
And throughout these hearings, Morrison continued to minimize his actions, blaming Amy for his behavior,
Seriously.
showing no empathy for the trauma he inflicted.
Ugh, he sounds awful.
He just seemed more focused on his own freedom
Wow.
than on taking any responsibility for what he did.
So irresponsible.
And to make matters worse, Morrison has filed for interstate parole,
What does that mean?
meaning he wants to serve his parole in New Jersey instead of Colorado.
Oh, wow.
This leaves Amy in just agonizing limbo,
I can't imagine.
uncertain of where he'll end up and how it will impact her safety.
That's awful.
It's a stark reminder that we need better communication and coordination between jurisdictions
Right.
to effectively track and monitor stalkers, especially in cases like this where they might be relocating.
Definitely.
And it's truly amazing Amy isn't letting fear paralyze her.
Really?
In fact, she's been proactively searching through her extensive case files,
Oh, wow.
over 20,000 pages,
20,000 pages.
to uncover evidence of other potential victims.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
And she uncovered disturbingly labeled zip drives
Yeah.
containing evidence of other victims,
Oh, gosh.
and even uncovered Nazi memorabilia among Morrison's belongings.
Oh, my gosh.
This suggests that her case might be just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
Her proactive approach could be instrumental in bringing justice to others
It
who
could.
might have suffered in silence.
Right.
She's not just fighting for her own safety.
Hmm.
She's trying to protect other potential victims.
That's incredible.
And this leads us to a frustrating reality.
What's that?
The statute of limitations for stalking in many states,
Okay.
including Colorado,
Mhm.
is only 3 years.
Only 3 years.
So even if Amy finds evidence of other victims, it might be too late for them to seek legal recourse.
Wow.
It's like the legal system is playing catch-up,
Yeah.
failing to recognize that the effects of stalking can reverberate for years,
Absolutely.
even decades.
Mm-hmm.
This limited time frame for prosecution can leave victims feeling like they've been denied justice
Right.
and allow perpetrators to escape the full consequences of their actions.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's why Amy's advocacy work is so crucial.
I agree.
She's not just seeking justice for herself,
Mm-hmm.
she's pushing for systemic change.
Yeah.
to protect others from experiencing what she went through.
Exactly. Amy's advocacy work, it goes beyond just sharing her story,
Yeah.
She's actively involved in changing legislation.
Really?
Yeah, working with lawmakers to
Yeah.
strengthen stalking laws and improve protections for victims.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's inspiring to see her channel her experience into something so positive.
Right. And impactful.
Hmm.
I mean, she's not sitting back waiting for someone else to fix the problem.
Exactly.
She's taking action,
Yeah.
trying to make a real difference.
Mm-hmm.
And her work in Colorado, I think, is a great example of that.
It is.
She testified in support of a bill
You okay?
that addresses online facilitated misconduct.
Right.
I have to admit, I wasn't entirely familiar with that term.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
So, online facilitated misconduct,
Okay.
it refers to using technology to harass, stalk, or otherwise harm someone.
Okay.
So think like deep fakes,
Right.
GPS tracking without consent,
Oh, wow.
or using dating apps to manipulate and control someone.
So basically, it's recognizing that stalking isn't just a physical crime anymore.
Exactly.
It's happening online, and the laws are struggling to keep up
Yeah, they are.
with these new tactics.
That's a problem.
And so this bill that Amy helped push through in Colorado seems like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it is.
It addresses those digital aspects of stalking,
Yeah.
like deepfakes and remote tracking on dating apps. And it aims to hold technology companies more accountable
Yes,
for user safety.
absolutely.
It's like acknowledging that the internet has become a stalker's playground,
It has.
and we need to put stronger safeguards in place
Certainly.
to protect people.
Yeah, we need to protect people.
And Amy's advocacy goes beyond just pushing for new legislation.
It does.
She's also advocating for harsher penalties for stalking convictions,
Okay.
longer sentencing to reflect the severity of the crime, and better communication between jurisdictions,
Right.
which makes a lot of sense because if stalking often escalates to more serious violence, shouldn't be treated with the same level of urgency as other violent crimes.
It absolutely should.
And she makes a compelling case
Yeah.
for the creation of a national stalking database,
Okay.
similar to the sex offender registry.
Interesting.
Now, that's an idea I can get behind.
Yeah.
Having a central database where law enforcement can track stalkers across state lines seems like a no-brainer. It'd be a powerful tool for prevention.
Absolutely. It could allow law enforcement agencies to share information about known stalkers,
Right.
track their movements, and potentially intervene before they can harm another person.
It just seems like we're always reacting to these tragedies
We are.
instead of being proactive.
Yeah.
A national stalking database could really shift that dynamic,
It could.
allowing us to identify patterns and intervene earlier.
But that's the goal.
And it's really incredible how she's doing all this while still grappling with the trauma of her own experience
It is.
and the ongoing uncertainty of Morrison's impending release.
I can't imagine.
She's not letting fear dictate her life.
She's not.
Instead, she's using her experience to empower herself
Right.
and others
Yeah.
to push for change and to make the world a safer place.
That's right.
It's a really powerful example of turning pain into purpose. And while she's navigating the complexities of the legal system and advocating for change, she's also taking steps to protect herself.
Oh, good.
She shared that she's planning to leave town
Okay.
before Morrison's release and is seeking therapy to process the trauma.
That's good.
It's a reminder that healing from stalking isn't a linear process.
Yeah,
It's an ongoing journey
it is.
that requires ongoing support, coping mechanisms, and a commitment to self-care.
Right.
And she's not alone in this journey.
No, she's not.
There are countless other victims of stalking who are silently enduring the fear, the anxiety,
Yeah.
and the long-lasting impact of this often invisible crime.
That's the truth.
That's why it's so crucial to have resources available,
Absolutely.
support groups, hotlines,
Yeah.
legal aid,
It's important.
so that victims don't have to suffer in silence.
Right.
Amy's story sheds light on a problem that often remains hidden,
It does.
and her advocacy is giving a voice to those who might feel powerless.
Yeah.
It's about breaking the silence,
Breaking the silence.
challenging the stigma, and creating a culture where victims feel empowered
Yes.
to speak out and seek help.
Absolutely.
It's also about recognizing that stalking isn't something that just happens to other people.
Right.
It can happen to anyone,
And anyone.
regardless of age, gender, or social status.
That's right. Stalking is a pervasive crime
It is.
that transcends demographics. It's essential that we all become more aware of the
Yes.
warning signs,
Okay.
understand the potential consequences,
Mhm.
and know how to intervene safely and effectively.
So what can we as listeners do to help?
That's a good question.
How can we move beyond just being aware of the problem
Right.
to actually being part of the solution?
Yeah. Yeah. It can feel overwhelming, right, to know where to start
Right.
when it comes to tackling a complex issue like stalking, but
Yeah.
even small actions can make a difference.
So let's get specific. What are some tangible things our listeners can do
Mm-hmm.
to get involved and help combat stalking?
Well, I think first and foremost, continue to educate yourself.
Okay.
There are some fantastic organizations out there
Yeah.
doing incredible work.
Okay.
One that comes to mind is the
Mhm.
National Stalking Prevention Awareness Resource Center,
Okay.
or SPARC for short.
Okay.
Their website is just a treasure trove of information
Okay.
on stalking its various forms,
Okay.
the warning signs and resources for victims.
That's a great starting point.
It is.
It's easy to feel paralyzed by not knowing enough,
Right.
but taking that initial step to learn more
Mm-hmm.
can really empower you to make a difference.
It can. So what else?
Well, another powerful step is to get involved in your own community.
Okay.
Look for local domestic violence shelters
Mm-hmm.
or organizations that support victims of stalking.
Okay.
Many of them rely on volunteers
Yeah.
and your time and energy
Right.
make a world of difference. And sometimes I think the most impactful thing you can do
Yeah.
is just be there for someone who discloses that they're being stalked.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen without judgment,
Yes.
validate their experience,
Mm-hmm.
and help them connect with resources if they're ready.
That's so important.
Right.
Yeah, far too often victims are dismissed or disbelieved,
Right.
and that can compound their trauma
Mm-hmm.
and prevent them from seeking help.
Yeah.
Just offering a listening ear.
Right.
And a supportive presence can be incredibly validating.
And it's not just about supporting victims.
Right.
It's also about holding perpetrators accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you witness stalking behavior,
Okay.
don't stay silent.
No.
Report it to the authorities.
Yeah.
Intervene if it's safe to do so.
If it's safe.
And just make it clear
Yeah.
that this kind of behavior
Right?
is unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
We need to create a culture of accountability
We do.
because stalking thrives in silence and secrecy.
It does.
And by speaking out, we challenge those norms.
Yes.
And send a clear message
Right.
that this type of behavior will not be tolerated.
Exactly.
Amy's story has been both heartbreaking and inspiring.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of stalking,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a testament to the power of resilience
It is.
and the possibility of turning pain into purpose.
Absolutely.
Her advocacy work is a beacon of hope.
It is.
She's not only fighting for herself,
Right.
but for countless others
Mm-hmm.
who have been impacted by stalking.
Yeah.
And her efforts are a reminder that we can all be agents of change.
We can.
So if Amy's story has resonated with you,
Mm-hmm.
if it's sparked a desire to learn more or
Yeah.
get involved,
Okay.
then we encourage you to take action.
Yes.
Even small steps
Small steps.
can create a ripple effect
If they can.
and contribute to a safer world for everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Amy's story and the fight against stalking.
Thank you for having me.
We hope that you'll continue to explore this important issue and join us in advocating for change.
It's important.
Remember, your voice matters.
It does.
Your actions can make a difference.
They can.
And together, we can create a world where everyone can live free from fear.